Hi again, my name is David Mulligan, and this is my second video for the UAV Technology and Fire Safety class. So this week the question that we were tasked with is, what do you believe is the biggest impact UAV technology has? And clarify that it can be a positive or a negative impact. So in my personal opinion, I think the areas that UAV technology impacts the most are safety and security. So essentially, drones and other unmanned vehicles have the ability to capture large amounts of data. They can do this through a ton of newly developed technology. For example, sensors. You can have a bunch of different types of sensors. You can have thermal, infrared, imaging, things like that, which will take data just on the conditions and stuff like that. And then there are also cameras. You can use those to take pictures of different scenarios, different environments, or you can use it to take video surveillance, which also definitely relates to safety and security. And they can be used to monitor safety and security in a variety of different situations. For example, public gatherings, so sporting events, rallies, parades, stuff like that, anywhere where you have big crowds that you may not be able to get a full line of view from the ground. Same thing can be used in battlefields, so definitely some military applications there. Just being able to see things from an aerial point of view that you may not be able to see from the front lines. And another thing that you may not think about is obscure locations that may not be easily accessible by land. Without any other types of surveillance, it would be really nice to see those from above, and that's what UAV and drone technology gives you. So there are several pros and cons to this level of surveillance, so we'll go ahead and start with the pros. It's really good for managing crowd control in large gatherings, like I said. So say something were to break out, there was some sort of fight or altercation, you'd be able to see that from an aerial view much more easily than you'd be able to see it from the ground, just from personnel being there. So that's a very good way to keep people safe and make sure you're securing the location. It's also really good in emergency control and relief, which is sort of what we're talking about in this class. So taking sensor data to determine locations and conditions of survivors is a really good advantage of drones. Evaluating surrounding areas to make sure everybody is staying safe and secure. And you can even use different types of sensors. So one I didn't mention was a chemical sensor to assess the quality of the air in, say, a fire or some sort of natural disaster, which directly correlates to the safety of everybody who's in the vicinity. And also, like I said before, military applications, there's a ton of them that provide great advantages for our military. Assessing battlefields during a war, surveying for enemy troops along a given route that you're planning to take, providing live feedback from the front lines to the strategists or whoever's sending out the battle plans. Really, the possibilities are endless on that front. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that UAV technology has only positive impacts on safety and security. There are certainly some disadvantages as well. The first one that comes to mind is decreased privacy. Obviously, if there's more sensors and more drones and UAVs out there taking data, it may be a little bit harder to regulate what kind of data they are receiving versus what you want to remain private. There are regulations in place for this, especially with drones and UAVs becoming more popular, but obviously sometimes these are going to be difficult to enforce. Another thing that I was actually reading about recently is that the increasing use of drones in the military could make wars more violent and deadly. I was reading about autonomous killing drones that can essentially sense or track a target and kill them. So it could abuse the sensor and camera data that I was talking about earlier to find and kill unsuspecting targets, like I said, making wars very violent, very deadly, things like that. So overall, as you can kind of see, there's a lot of give and take to having this level of surveillance and this level of data. But overall, I do think that we're heading in a good direction for safety and security with UAVs and drones. And that is all that I have, so thank you.